It's always been my dream to ask for quiet in the library, so of course I'm going to be the one making the noise. I'm Father Kestermeyer, and I have been given the honor this afternoon of decorating one of our students who richly deserves it. I had him as a freshman back when he started, and now he's a senior. I teach literature, and I believe that everybody has a story. As a matter of fact, many stories. And Nate Ty is one who went in search of that story and fleshed it out and made it something to share for all of us. So today it's our privilege to introduce this year's winner of the Masters of Scholarly Research Award, Mr. Nathan Ty. The Reinert-Alumni Library, in cooperation with the College of Arts and Sciences, offers the award to recognize outstanding achievement in research, methodology, and writing. Nathan's paper, Why I Wander So Far From Home, Personal, Postal, and Prison Relationships During the Civil War, was written in the fall semester for Dr. Heather Fry's course, History 595, Special Problems in History. Prior to winning our award, Nathan's paper has already been recognized by military history professionals who selected his paper for a panel of new research at the Missouri Valley History Conference in March. And if you're not aware of it, a very special article appeared in the most recent Creighton magazine, and then more, quite a bit more, appeared on the front page of this morning's paper. And so it is with great, dare I say, glee, that I award this to Mr. Nathan Ty, who richly deserves it. Take that. And now, a few words from our sponsor, Father Schlegel.
Thanks, Father Kestermeyer. We are here to celebrate a birthday, and so I really don't mind speaking loudly in the library. In fact, I did it after we did a video, which I encourage you to watch. We had finished that taping, and I came out here with Melissa Keene, and we managed to disrupt the entire library for 45 more minutes as we continued the conversation. When we did the DVD for the library to celebrate its 50 years, I think they called on me as one of the faculty presences from 1969 forward who saw this particular physical building go through transformations, as well as having the pleasure of knowing several librarians along the way, and somebody who is very much ensconced in libraries and once upon a time thought I had a scholarly bent. I'd have two very familiar recognitions of this building. One, in the rare book room is where I did the proofs of my second book, so that room is very sacred to me. And also, I think I had the distinction of having one of the largest reserve shelves in the political science department once upon a time, which is to say how libraries have transformed themselves. Reserve shelves, I think, are relatively rare these days, because you can probably find the resources online. But what we did put into that video, and it did sort of trigger a few reflections. One was, libraries are only as good as the librarians and the staff around them. And we have a history here of superb librarians and a very service-oriented staff. Father James Cramper was longtime librarian, very little experience in being a librarian, but did it extraordinarily well to roughly 1977. And he would be a man of very quiet ways. He still wore a cassock, and the only way you knew he was here, you just heard the swish go by as Father Cramper was off doing his thing. What I like about Jim, he never brought the library problems back to the university, to the Jesuit community. He kept them all right here. But again, his great trademark was putting together the main collection that is on this side of the building, preparing the ground for Ray Means, who was his successor. And Ray was the librarian, a very gregarious, very friendly, very open individual, looked very much like Warren Buffett, crumpled suits, but a great smile. But he also had a vision for the next phase of the library. And that'd be my second point. The building you're standing in, everyone who is to the east of me was not here. You were out in Riggy Plaza. The entrance of the library was there. And this is all new addition. That came into being in the planning of 1980 to 1983, and I had the opportunity of being on that design committee, and it was the first opportunity I had to be on a committee to design a facility. And it really taught me a great deal, and I learned a great deal about how not to do things and how to do things. And one was best practices, and so we did a road trip to a couple of local colleges that had new up-to-date library facilities. And I think we came back and incorporated some of the best of what we found. This building was intended to have 3 phases, but we could only afford phase 1. Phase 1 is the atrium and the exit going out to the south, the new entryway. All of that wonderful walkway below here, down where the Thiessen High Technology Center was phase 2, and the university had no resources to do that until Willie Thiessen stepped forward, a member of the Creighton board, to get that piece finished as well. So that's basically how this building has evolved from a rectangle, and you can see it as you go outside. All this white marble facing is the original building. It was a rectangle. It had an open balcony up here, and then the rest is the addition. So now as we move forward, maybe we now can get that phase 3. As you know, there is a standing committee in place to look at the needs of the library and how we're going to redesign it and refocus some of its resources. And I think that committee is going to have their report to me by the end of my tenure here, and I'll pass it on to Father Lannon. But I suspect what the committee is going to recommend is that libraries have evolved from being places of significant collections and maybe exclusively collections, or just places to be social and gather, to what's more, I see in front of me all these students working on their computers and electronic information retrieval. So it's going to be some combination of creating new group study space, some combination of having perhaps accordion-like shelving for the main collection. Possibly it's going to have additional whiteboard opportunities and high-tech opportunities to bring down digitized information. Students are much more adept at this than we are at the moment, and I think they are the ones who will sort of lead this parade as we go forward at what is going to be the 3rd iteration of this library since it opened in 1961. I think it's a very exciting time to be. As I mentioned in my convocation talk, one of the reasons we did not invest heavily in the library for the last decade was we didn't know where libraries were going. They have morphed significantly from being collections and social spaces to being much more group spaces, group study spaces, and electronic retrieval of information. So the whole thing has changed. And rather than sort of throw resources in here which would just simply be cosmetic, I think to wait for a committee to come back with some significant suggestions is the direction we're going to go. So again, I'm here to thank all of you who use the library. Thank you for being here. Thank those wonderful librarians who've gone before us, those wonderful support staff that this library has always been known for. You get the best service here. That is consistently since 1969 to the present. I've had no complaints about the service in the Reinert-Alumni Library, so we're delighted with that. So again, thank you all for being here. Nate, I want to congratulate you. That's a very impressive discovery you did with your family history, and how poignant, since today is the 105th anniversary of the bombing of Fort Sumter in the beginning of the Civil War. And here you are with your article on your great-great-grandfather's relatives. So go to your attics, my friends, and pick out those old letters and dump those old books, and who knows what picture's going to fall out or what article is going to fall out. That could be you next year. So thanks very much, everybody, and happy birthday, library, and I think there's some refreshments over here. So.
Very briefly, let me expand upon those refreshments. You've got all kinds of refreshments, not only cake, coffee, and water over here, but we have a banner over here which we're inviting you to sign. There's some belt tips and things so that you could be remembered when they hang it up at the 100-year anniversary of the library. There's a looped video interview with Father Schlegel back in the classroom back there. Farther down here, there's an exhibit of clothing, music, realia, and other things from 1961. And beyond that, there's photos of the original library and other things. So you have all sorts of things to delight you, and I would encourage you to go be delighted. Go.